Imagine a weapon that appears ineffective when handled by a lone warrior, yet possesses the potential to decimate entire armies when utilized by hundreds moving in perfect unison. Ancient warfare transcended the mere clash of swords and shields. The archaeological record reveals weapons so specialized and intricately designed for mass combat that wielding one alone feels akin to holding only half of a complex machine crafted for synchronized destruction. Historians have unearthed remarkable examples of such armaments, including pikes that extend over 25 feet in length while weighing a mere 10 pounds. These formidable weapons were capable of halting cavalry charges and altering the course of empires. They were not merely tools for individual combat. Instead, they served as extensions of a well-coordinated organism, where the mistake of one warrior could spell death for 20 others. The mastery of formations using these weapons could topple kingdoms. In today's exploration, we will delve into 9 of the most devastating formation weapons ever conceived, each one demonstrating both the ingenuity and lethality that resonates through history, adorned with the beauty of precision. Asterisk Weapon 1. The Greek sarissa asterisk envision a spear so long that it demands both hands to wield effectively. The sarissa, measuring up to 25 feet, played a pivotal role in transforming Macedonia from a modest region into the vast empire of Alexander the Great. The brilliance of this weapon lay in its ingenious design. 2 long wooden sections connected by a bronze sleeve, allowing for flexibility under pressure without breaking. Philip II of Macedon recognized that the sarissa true might rested not in individual battle, but in formation. His phalanx, consisting of 5 ranks deep, created an intimidating barrier of spear points, extending as far as 40 feet ahead. When faced with traditional hoplites at the Battle of Chaeronea in 338 BC, the elite sacred band of Thebes charged and found themselves utterly vanquished. All 300 men fell while the Macedonian phalanx remained largely undisturbed. Yet, the sarissa had its vulnerabilities. Difficult terrain such as hills or rugged ground could cause the long pikes to tangle and disrupt the formation. Light infantry often exploited this weakness, luring phalanxes into disarray. However, on open plains, with shields locked and pikes forming a bristling barricade, the Macedonian phalanx stood as an unassailable fortress made of stela, quintessential example of formation as a weapon. Asterisk Weapon 2. The Swiss halberd asterisk. The encounter of the pike and the axe gave birth to the Swiss halberd, a weapon that combined a spear point, an axe blade, and a rear hook into a singularly efficient tool of warfare. Houses peasants crafted halberds to contend with the armored knights of their time, equipping themselves with a formidable weapon that could thrust, cleave, and yank nobles from horseback. The Swiss pike square, composed of thousands of men, featured 18-foot pikes on the perimeter with halberds positioned within. At the Battle of Nancy in 1477, these powerful infantry squares faced a charge from French cavalry. Horses were impaled, knights were dragged from their mounts, and Duke Charles the Bold of Burgundy met a grisly fate, his body, identifiable only by his fingernails, days later. Training in the Swiss ranks was marked by mechanical precision. The first rank would kneel, the second would strike high, and the third low, creating a dynamic wave of slaughter and perfect coordination. This training transformed peasants into a lethal living engine. However, as armies expanded, the complexity and cost of producing halberds became prohibitive. A simpler, faster weapon was soon on the horizon, one that surged forward with thunder. Asterisk Weapon 3. The Ottoman Kuiper lance asterisk. The Ottoman Sipahi cavalry revolutionized the lance, transforming it into an exquisite instrument of warfare. The Kuiper lance, lighter and perfectly balanced, enabled riders to charge in tight formation, knee to knee, with lances aligned within mere inches of one another. At the Battle of Mohacs, in Ur-Lil, 20,000 Ottoman lancers decimated the Hungarian defenses in waves, obliterating one of Europe's finest armies within hours. King Louis II met his demise while fleeing the battlefield, drowning in the chaos. Unlike their European counterparts, whose lances were cumbersome and unwieldy, the Ottoman design featured a balanced shaft that allowed for enhanced control and precision while riding at full gallop. The diamond-shaped tips of the lances enabled riders to strike effectively, even during withdrawal maneuver known as the reaping stroke. Choreographed attacks characterized the Ottoman cavalry, launching their offensive in waves. The first to disrupt, the second to penetrate, and the third to envelop. To the infantry, they seemed less like individual men and more like a geometric storm of stela, a living equation of death. Asterisk Weapon 4. The Spanish tercio pike asterisk. The Spanish tercio was a mobile fortress on the battlefield. Comprised of pikes ranging from 18 to 22 feet, it created a moving wall that shielded swordsmen and arquebusiers within its protective embrace. Its invincibility stemmed not merely from the weaponry, but from the tactical integration of various units. The tercio could rotate into a square, effectively becoming an impenetrable formation with pikes at every side, swordsmen within its confines, and gunners firing from the center. No flanks, no weak points. At Pavia in 1525, sweeping charges from French cavalry met this bristling wall of steel and gunfire, ultimately resulting in their fierce repulsion. The tercio could even mount assaults on fortifications, advancing through cannon fire while closing gaps faster than they opened. Their soldiers displayed remarkable endurance. The tercio could sustain a 30% casualty rate, yet continue to fight. However, this strength harbored a hidden weakness, the slow reformation after battle. One astute king from the north would soon exploit this flaw with chilling precision. Asterisk Weapon 5. The Swedish pike and shot asterisk. The Swedish king Gustavus Adolphus redefined military tactics by questioning whether the pike could move with greater speed. His soldiers wielded it shorter, lighter pikes measuring around 12 feet instead of the traditional 20-on innovated formations aimed at rapid maneuvering. They flipped the tercio ratio, employing 2 musketeers for every pikeman. This configuration allowed them to fire, reform, and strike before the enemy had time to adapt. At the Battle of Breitenfeld in 1631, they obliterated their imperial adversaries. 7,000 enemy soldiers fell for only 2,000 Swedish casualties. Swedish pikemen not only defended, they pressed forward into combat while musketeers fired over their shoulders. When the enemy responded, Swedish troops would retreat, luring their adversaries into pursuit, then heaped on destructive musket volleys during a countercharge. This seamless coordination of aggression and precision became known as the German Fury. Their vulnerabilities included susceptibility during Reformation periods and limited reach against longer pikes. Yet their tactical velocity rendered them the most advanced infantry of their era. Weapon 6. The Chinese GA dagger axe asterisk. For over 2,000 years, Chinese armies honed the GA, a dagger axe distinguished by its perpendicular blade designed for hooking rather than stabbing. The J's purpose was not merely to kill, but to disrupt the enemy's formation. In the Zhou and Han dynasties, soldiers fought in harmonious ranks. The front rows thrust forward, while the seconds swung wide arcs, and the third hooked and pulled. Enemies who dared to breach these lines found themselves vulnerable to follow-up strikes, tripped, or yanked off balance. The GA emphasized breaking enemy cohesion rather than outright slaughter. Once an opponent's formation shattered, killing became a straightforward task. Over time, the design evolved to include spear points, transitioning into the GA hybrid weapon capable of both thrusting and hooking. Training was meticulous. Soldiers practiced catching small metal rings with their hooks to enhance control. The GEA saw decline with advancements in armor and the rise of cavalry warfare, but its legacy persisted. Echoing a fundamental principle, disruption must precede destruction, a lesson that resonates through the ages. Asterisk Weapon 7. The Bohemian ear spoon asterisk. Despite its peculiar name, the Bohemian ear spoon embodied a knight's worst nightmare. Resembling a long sickle, it was engineered to pull rather than stab. During the Hussite Wars of the 15th century, Czech peasants employed these hooked tools from fortified positions to ensnare mounted knights, dragging them from their saddles. Once downed, a knight's armor became a liability, immobilizing them and rendering them easy targets. At the Battle of Saint-Ouen, 1426, 500 knights were captured alive, humiliated, and dragged like fish of fate, deemed unchivalrous by the church, yet serving as testament to the weapon's brutal efficacy. Training revolved around teamwork and the utilization of leverage, emphasizing timing over brute strength. Peasants executed their techniques in unison, targeting the joints of armored foes. Yet, this weapon relied heavily on defensive terrain. Without protection from wagon forts, it proved too risky for use on open fields. As gunpowder weapons saw increased prevalence, the ear spoon gradually disappeared from battlefields, but not before it dismantled the myth of knightly invincibility. At first glance, the Roman pilum appeared to be a simple javelin, but its design held remarkable strategic brilliance. Built to bend upon impact, it transformed enemy shields into dead weight, significantly diminishing their effectiveness. Each pilum featured a long iron shaft that penetrated shields, bending to render them unusable. Roman legions executed volleys with perfect synchronization. The front rank would step back and draw swords, while the second rank hurled their pila in a rhythmic cascade of steel, disrupting enemy formations before the inevitable clash. At the Battle of Pharsalus in 48 BC, Julius Caesar's pila shattered Pompey's ranks. Shields fell, formations crumbled, and before the enemy could regroup, Roman legionaries charged forward with their short swords drawn. Subsequent designs even incorporated breakaway pegs, ensuring that upon impact, the shaft would bend deliberately. The pilum's true genius lay not in inflicting death, but in dismantling the enemy's ability to fight cohesively. When cohesion evaporated, Rome claimed victory. Weapon 9. The Zulu Ikwa lastly. We consider the weapon that toppled empires, the Zulu Ikwa. Measuring just 18 inches in blade length on a 30-inch shaft, it conquered swaths of territory. Prior to the reign of Shaka Zulu, warriors primarily relied on throwing spears. Shaka revolutionized combat by shortening the shaft, broadening the blade, and mandating that his men engage in face-to-face combat. The Ikwa became not just a weapon, but a test of bravery and resolve. Zulu warriors operated in a formation called the Buffalo Horns, with the center, the chest holding fast, while the horns flanked the enemy, encircling and crushing them. At the Battle of Isandawana in 1879, an estimated 20,000 Zulu warriors, primarily armed with the Ikwa, annihilated a British force equipped with rifles and artillery. Training among Zulu warriors was relentless. Drills fostered perfect synchronization shield to shield, chant to chant, creating the illusion of a singular living organism. Their steadfast resolve in battle was absolute. To break formation risked death at the hands of their own commanders. However, the limits of courage were laid bare at Ulundi, where British Gatling guns wrought horrifying devastation on Zulu forces. Yet the principles of formation discipline, close combat aggression, and unified movement stayed alive through the ages. These concepts would later resurface in modern infantry tactics. From the Greek pikes that halted cavalry advances to the Zulu spears that triumphed over modern firearms, these formation weapons convey an enduring truth: when discipline and unity are combined, simple tools can evolve into formidable engines of annihilation. If you enjoyed this exploration into historical weaponry, consider subscribing to our channel and pressing the bell icon to support our work, ensuring you never miss an update. Don't forget to like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and spread the word with others to help grow our vibrant historical community.